listening to Debatables,
with Terry Francisco and Rance Rizzuto.
the show where ridiculous people debate ridiculous things for no reason but fun. Oh my gosh, it's time for season 3. Are we calling it season 3, Rance?
Yeah, season 3. It's an official season 3, partially a season 1. Ooh.
Yeah, what does that mean? I mean, this show has been on for a little bit. We've had wonderful people reach out to us and say they enjoyed the show, which used to be called It's Not a Show, but
Used to
we're rebranding.
be.
We're
Yes.
rebranding.
Yes. It's time now for it is a show. We had to deal with it. It is a show. And this show is now called Debatables.
That's right. We take pride in the fact that this has been the format. By the way, I'm Terry Francisco.
Oh, hi. I'm Rance Rizzuto.
That seems important. And we're both professional improvisers, comedians, and professional touring artists all over the world. But when we're on this show, we're just your pals chatting about things that just don't matter and seeing how worked up we can get about them.
Yeah, sometimes we're on the same page. Sometimes we're on the same page that's the opposite page of what you might think it is. And sometimes we are not on the same page at all.
This intro is going great, by the way.
I love it.
Sometimes we're on pages that are different pages. Sometimes we're on pages that are opposite pages. And sometimes those pages just won't page themselves.
Yep. Sometimes we're on the cover, but the inside part of the cover that tells you a little bit about the author.
Is this what you tuned in for?
Yeah, is it?
Oh, thanks for tuning into that dial. Hey, we're so glad you're here. So what is Debatables all about? That means we're going to get submissions from all kinds of people, our friends from all over the world that we were lucky enough to know. Maybe some people that listened to the first or second season. The second season was very short, but we gained some followers there too. We're very fortunate to have you listening, by the way.
Yeah.
And some people kind of send them in throughout the past couple months when we've been off the air. This is the air, right?
The air, yeah. We've been writing on top of the air the entire time.
1930s airways. Yeah, we are still doing that. And we've sent some questions in. We get some of these from our crowdsourcing of pals we know on social media. And we even have some famous people sending us some questions along the way. But we are going to kind of revamp the whole thing and take a question per pod, debate it, and even have guest stars sometimes on it.
Whisper pod.
What was that?
A Whisper pod.
We should rebrand.
We are now called Whisper pod. I think let's stick with Debatables. Let's stick with Debatables.
You got it. So if nothing else, we'll just hope to bring a little joy to your day and have you argue with yourself at home listening to this, or on your walk, or at your work, or in your wherever you are. Wherever you are listening to this thing, we hope that you're just really, really listening to the quandary and giving it an old go.
Yeah, we tend to bring the passion to these things that you might find in anyone discussing candy corn.
Have you all ever noticed? I don't know if you ever learned this. It's not far off from Halloween as we're recording this. It's November, and I'll tell you what. I only learned this year that if you stack candy corn, it makes an actual corn on the cob.
That is the only good thing about it. Yes, I know what you're talking about, and it's pretty.
It's really pretty. If you don't know about this has nothing to do with the episode that we're listening to right now.
No.
But if you haven't seen this, give it a goog, huh? Give it a goog and go check out how candy corn can be stacked to look like an actual corn on the cob.
Yeah, give it a goog and just look for yourself to see that corn.
That might be the only redeeming quality of candy corn in our books.
Like if you go get a can of kernel corn, you will not be able to put it back in a cob as well as you could with candy corn.
No way. And that's where the candy corn people have got the market cornered. And I mean cornered. You know, now that we're talking to, I wanted to recap for some of our listeners. Maybe some people are joining us just this season. And if you are, thank you for being here. If you are returning to us, thank you for giving us a giant gap. We had lots of shows, and Rance and I run an improvisational and sketch comedy theater in Columbus, Ohio, known as C-Bus colloquially. And we run a theater here, and we also tour a show for our own living. So we've had these big gaps in between. We've gotten to talk to you. And thinking back on our seasons 1 and 2, those short, they were sweet. And we gained many followers. We even got into these rankings very quickly of being like top comedy podcasts. And we're like, what's going on? And then we Rance, we were the ones that lost steam because we had to go do, real life TM things. And now that we're back, I can't even remember the things we debated in seasons 1 and 2. However, I do
Yeah.
remember that one of our most famous were things like, our tacos a sandwich, or one of our most famous really was fingers for leggies or leggies for fingies. That was one of our most famous ones that we
Yes.
had in season 1. So we're looking for that kind of quality. If you ever want to submit a debatable to us, we'd love to hear from you. We'll happily share it on the show. We'll happily highlight where you're from and kind of pass along some love from us for your creative question. And the more ridiculous, the better, to be honest.
Yeah. I feel like we were just talking about it today that we tend to have this or that's, which would be the leggies for fingies or fingies for leggies,
Exactly.
or the ones that are like discuss this. What was the other one? What's the like most the least trustworthy letter or something like that?
Yeah,
Like
I think we had one in season 2 that I believe was like, what's the snottiest letter? Or like, what's the rudest letter of the alphabet? This is a great question. So things that people have never even tried to consider before, we're ready to take on that task.
yeah, we can form an opinion about just about anything.
You got it. That's what we want to do. We'll make an opinion up about something because strong stances are
Big chances.
big chances. That's what we want to do. So we'd love to hear from you. If you want to submit a debatable, feel free to write us. We'll give you that address at the very end so we can hear from you and hopefully use your thing on the program.
On the program,
Yeah. Heck
let's
yeah. Anything you want to share that's been going on in your life, Rance, in the meanwhile? Anything just before we get to the deep dive of jumping into our first debatable of season 3?
I know that places that do podcasts try not to like they try to keep their podcast evergreen, but we're literally in the week break around Thanksgiving right now. So it's just been kind of interesting to take and do some stuff around the house that's not theater related, and
Yeah.
have that whole week to not do anything theater related. And so what have we been doing? Bunch of theater related stuff.
Got it, dude. I'll tell you what, we run a comedy space primarily. I mean, we have like alt comedy and sketch comedy and sometimes like storytelling and improvisation, all kinds of stuff at the Nest Theater in Columbus, Ohio. But I'll tell you what, the minute your brain, do people feel like this? Our listeners, our folks. I'll tell you what, whenever I get a brain break, that's when my brain gets the most creative. It's
Yeah.
like I know that I don't have to work. Then I'm
Yep.
like, what would be cool? It's like immediately like flooding me with things that I don't want to be dealing with. Everyone's got to be like that, right? Like when you have room, for some reason, you just kind of like flood with stuff. I'm very bad at being still.
I don't remember what it feels like to have a separation. Whereas like I get sort of envious of people who have 9 to 5s who are like their weekend is theirs because what are they going? They aren't at work. They might have something pop up in their head, but like all their creative energy is probably doing stuff for themselves. Like
Yeah, probably. That's
uh,
good in a
yeah.
way. But I'll tell you what, we always are kinda like, "What if we?" Now, what if we, it
Oh
just happens into what if we's, and it has been wild to have a little pocket of time, like even 24 to 48 hours of just having moments of, "Should we do blank?" And we don't typically have that time, so now we're just kinda like, "Well, we better crank some podcasts because we wanna get back to the what used to be called No Show Nation."
oh no! What is
I
it going to be
know!
called now?
I just thought it for anyone that's just joining this season, the fans of this podcast were called No Show Nation,
Mm.
as deemed by our friend of the pod, Michael Tonovitz. But we're going to have to think up a new name or still use No Show Nation as the people that listen to Debatables. That might be fun, a deep cut.
Either way, like I
Either
do
way.
like the sound of No Show Nation, but it also doesn't. If in the long run, it won't make sense anymore.
Well, either way, I'm so glad you all are here. If you're just jumping in with us, thank you for being here. If you haven't heard any of this stuff, there are some strong recommends in 1 and 2 for our listeners
Yeah,
that are new to us. But if you are returning, we're so glad you're here. We probably should get into it, Rance.
let's do it, Tara. Let's.
This
Who's this debatable from, and what's
thank
the scoop, and what's the debatable?
This one is from Velvet Wells, our friend to the north in Canada. They
Velvet Wells.
Velvet Wells. Velvet Wells is a performer in Canada. They are wonderful. They sent us a debatable, and I'm very glad to share it with Rance. I haven't actually gotten to consider this one. I am going to share what it is, though, because I have not thought about it today yet, and I know that
And I
Rance has no idea what it is.
and I typically don't read them because then I think too hard about them, and it spoils the fun for
That
myself
sounds
and for
that
Tara
sounds right.
and
That
for
sounds
you.
right. Yeah, you spoil the fun. I don't think you're a fun spoiler, but that could spoil some fun.
Yeah.
From Velvet Wells, they ask,
Yes.
when someone moves the event forward, does that mean earlier or later?
Oh, okay. I am bad with this one.
Well, I don't think there's an answer, so I think you get to decide.
I mean, I think there's a general consensus among people that do understand what it means, and I'm just not one of them. I think that assuming a linear time span, forward means into the future, but I can understand how forward can mean earlier, like ahead of space in line. If I'm in line if I'm in line at Chipotle, not a sponsor, and
Not yet. Don't. Hey, aim big.
a big. If I'm in line at Wendy's,
If I'm in
then
line,
and I move forward, then I'm getting to the thing sooner. So it makes sense that it'd be earlier.
uh-huh.
But if it's more moving forward in time, then it would be later.
Let me say this.
Okay.
If someone says to me that they're moving the event forward, I definitely think it's earlier.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that that means I understand why you could move it forward on a calendar's page and that would make it later. Meaning like if I move spots forward, assuming that that means I'm scooting it forward, that
Yeah.
would mean a later date. However, if you say to me in real time, like to my face, we're going to move that event forward, I would assume it meant up. And
Yeah.
moving it up means, okay, that means it's sooner.
But does it? Like does up or down also has the same problems, right?
I mean, I guess so, yeah. But like, why? Why is that? Is this a thing that's colloquial, or is it like a thing that's based on local assumption, or is it something that we're making up that feels like up is associated with forward and down is associated with later?
Yeah.
Well, let me say this: when you say
Okay.
fall back
Mhm.
or spring forward, what do you do to the
That
sun?
should be the litmus test.
Okay.
Or that should be the Rosetta Stone of this whole debacle.
Yeah, so if we're saying, "Hey, it's fall, we're gonna fall back." This is assuming you have Eastern Standard Time or like you do time shifts in your zone.
Mhm.
Um, if you say we're falling back, that would mean it goes from 2 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Because we're gonna go back in time.
Heh, 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 heh. That's right. And if we say we're gonna spring forward, that means we go from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Yeah, like
Yep.
that's the idea. Not that we do it at night.
What would be your response? Say that someone in an email said we're moving the meeting forward an hour. What would your response be?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You said a different thing.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if I said if I'm moving the meeting forward an hour,
Yeah.
I'd think it was later.
Wasn't that the example that Velvet gave? Did I misremember it?
No, I'm just saying I don't know why that makes me think it's later. I have no
Yeah.
idea. I'm
Yeah.
cheating on myself.
But also spring forward would be the same thing of like but if someone wrote that,
If
the
someone said
meeting
we were moving the date forward, I'd think it was sooner. If they said we're going to move the time forward, I'd think it was sooner. But if you said we're moving the meeting forward, I'd think it was later. Huh.
So then what would you say to that? Like I send you an email that says, Tara, we need to move the meeting forward an
Here's
hour.
what I'd say, Rance. I'd say what time?
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly what I would say. Why don't you just save everyone the trouble and say, this meeting's not at 12 anymore. It's at 11.
Yeah, I think the key here is saying a full sentence, which is that you can say, we're going to move the meeting forward to March 10th. Like you have to
Yes.
have an ending to this sentence so that everyone can say, okay, fine, we agree, or we don't agree,
Yes.
but I understand what you want, which I think is the trouble with this sentence is that if we have a non-shared language, we're in trouble, huh? I mean,
Yeah.
there's this exercise that Rance and I do as proctors. We teach at a university and we also, are like improvisational instructors and stuff. And
Hmm.
there's this one exercise this makes me think of where we have people talk to each other and then they have to try to explain something that's hard to do or like it has different language to the partner that they're with. But if the partner doesn't understand their language, they'll do the exercise wrong. Meaning like if they say like the example, for example, is they're going to fold a piece of paper. But if they say like, fold the corner isn't specific enough, but the person will fold the wrong corner of the paper that they're looking at because they didn't use language that helped them understand it. This kind of reminds me of that because it's not specific enough for me to agree upon our like Rosetta Stone of what it is.
Yes, I agree, and I think it's my pet peeve.
What is
vagueness? And I said it's my pet peeve.
It's my pet peeve.
It's bad, you know.
Oh, the irony.
And that's part of it. That's part of the reason it's my pet peeve is because everyone does it, including me. Where it's just like we're trying to minimize. We're trying to say we're trying to get a message across in as little effort as necessary. And so when someone's like, "Oh man, that's bad," it's like, what's bad? What was it?
Yeah, it's true. That is true. I think that's the challenge is if you have, this is a great question, by the way, Velvet. I think that this is like a nice, easy leaping off point because it's just, I don't know that there's a determinant factor for me other than just having clarity at the end of the sentence should be the answer. Because we can all agree upon everyone perceives it differently, then that's okay, as long as people say the date or time that they mean.
I think everyone should be allowed to be like, be confident, be bold. And if they say the meeting moves forward an hour and it was supposed to be at noon, and you see that email and you show up at 1, but everyone else showed up at 11, if they say, where were you? The meeting got moved up. You should be able to be like, yeah, it did. And that's exactly where I was. Maybe next time you put a timestamp on that thing.
I'm going to go one better, I think. And I'm just going to say, what if we drop the idea of forward or back completely and say, we're going to move the meeting to blank?
Yeah.
Forward and back doesn't help at all because everyone has a different perception of it. I think you're right about going bold. But what if we just say, we're going to move the meeting to 1?
Yeah.
Then you don't have to deal with this problem, to which I say debatable dead. Then we don't have to be like, we're moving the date to March 10th. I don't know why I keep picking March 10th. We're moving the date to March 10th. Then no one has to be like, yes, forward.
Or just use earlier or later.
Sure.
But like, don't. Just use the time. If you really have to like loosen your definition, use earlier or later.
I like it.
Or we're going to move this meeting 1 hour older.
1 hour older?
Yeah.
The meeting is now 38 years young.
Yes.
Got it. Perfect. Well, Velvet Wells, thank you for this debatable. This was a good start.
Yeah, good start. Thanks, Velvet.
If you want to submit to this podcast, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to meet some of our No Show Nation out there and our debatables. We'll think of a name for this too. Some of our debatabers. We'll think.
D-bags?
If you want to be a D-bag and submit a debatable to this podcast, we sure would love to hear it.
Yeah, just leave us your email message by going to our contact form on our website, or go to our comment section on anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And then we'll be able to see your D-bag notice, and we'll be able to get that straight from you.
You got it. And we hope to have you on there. Put your name and let us know where you're from so we can shout you out on the podcast. We're so glad you listened to this first episode. These are all going to be short and sweet. We'd love to hear back from you too. If you have a strong opinion about something that we've said on any episode, please note the episode and let us know what you have to say.
Yep. If you want us to have longer episodes, that's quite simple. All you have to do is play it at half speed and you'll get twice the amount of time from Jared Rants.
Or you can just binge as many episodes as you like because there's going to be a ton of them.
Yep, there's going to be a ton.
Okay, great. Hey, if you want to know more about the Nest Theater, go to nesttheater.com, NESTTHEATRE.com. If you want to know about us, I'm Tara DiFrancisco, and this is Rants Rizzuto. Additionally, we're going to see you on Debatables, or at least get to talk to you quite a bit coming soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.